All right. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Sorry, a little bit late today. Of course, I go to hit send and like everything, I get 27 text messages all at one time. So that's typically how it works. Anyway, we'll see if we can get this back on track today. So far this morning, the biggest news that we're going to have is going to be this 10 a.m. release that we have in about 22 minutes. Unfortunately, that's going to kind of mess with the dollar a little bit. Big mover, though, has been the pound weakness that we're seeing. Yesterday, it was massive pound movement up. Today, all it is just a retracement of that. You're seeing like the pound yen down 219. You're seeing the dollar yen down 90. Again, seeing that yen strength come back into the market a little bit. But a lot of this is also, again, it's the pound kind of reversing. You're seeing the pound dollar down 80 and the euro pound up 105, which is greater than an ATR. Now, this is kind of a combination of pound weakness and European strength. Okay. Um, some of what we got down here, again, Bailey talking about, I would caution against applying that we're finished raising interest rates. And again, I think that's more just posturing, right? A further increase in the bank rate may be necessary, but nothing's been decided. That people have taken this as like a major weakness, right? Like you haven't decided that you need to do more. We reach our conclusions with a firm determination to achieve a 2% inflation target on a long-term basis. Inflation has been slightly low, while activity and wages have been slightly higher, with the emphasis on slightly in both cases. Monetary policy cannot alleviate the shock of our national real income. So, again, kind of some posturing. You'd be like, yeah, we're not horrible, right? But meanwhile, if you look across, ECB over here, right? Significant hikes beyond March are necessary. ECB policy must be more stubborn than inflation. So again, ECB is just coming in strong as far as listen, we need to do it, but they need to be significant, right? These are big things that they're saying. I'm much more at ease with the market's perception of ECB's role. So again, one kind of hawkish statement, one kind of dovish statement, leading to the craziness in the euro pound. Just got to look, just got this a little while ago. Kashkari is open-minded about hiking by 25 basis points or 50 basis points in March. Much more important is what we signal in the March dot plot. Okay. I lean towards continuing to push on my policy path versus my December view. Over-tightening policy is definitely a risk. Okay. But there you go. It's definitely a risk. And you're like, there we go. But risk of underdoing it is a much bigger risk for the U.S. So that's all you need to see is right there. Right? You look at this one and you're like, oh, look at that. They're not going to over tighten. They do care. And then this one right here. But it's a much bigger risk for the economy of underdoing it. I think my colleagues agree with me. Right? So, yeah, markets can be wrong too. Everyone was wrong early. No, not everyone. No, not everyone. Thank you, Kashkari. No. So stop saying everyone. Not everyone was wrong. So that's what we're getting right now as we, again, we kind of go into this morning session here. And again, you're seeing this down. You're seeing the dollar start to retrace back in the last 60 minutes. It's because of comments like that. That's exactly why we're seeing it. So, yeah. So let's, again, this manufacturer number, 47.9. It's within striking distance of that 50 number. Remember, 50 signifies an expansion, right? Expansion is great. That should help the, probably help the market a little bit. But again, those statements from Kashkari are kind of like, what does he mean by that? So we'll see. It's gonna provide some movement, I would assume. And again, if it comes in as expected, it doesn't really change much. That's what the market had already prepared for. But if it comes in as a 50 and it's like, yo, we're expanding, yeah, I think it could be some nice movement for the dollar. Now tomorrow we don't really have a whole lot of U.S. We have Waller speaking. We have the European flash data, and again, they're showing adjustments and things like that as far as the core and their year-over-year flash estimates. Again, that's probably why we're seeing the statements today. And then we have unemployment claims. Not really necessarily a big deal unless it comes in at like 400 or something. Excuse me. I don't expect it will. And then we have more speaking. So tomorrow is a rather shy day, starting that second. And then obviously Friday, we got services, right? Obviously services are kicking out. So it's funny, you look at that one and you're like, well, wait a second. This is the first Friday. You're right. It is the first Friday. Why is there no non-farm payroll? Because in March, because of the days, non-farm is actually the 10th. So it's actually, normally it's the first Friday we get excited, but this time it's not. It's the second. So it's one of those rare times. So kind of a weird ending to the week. Let's go right over and let's go back up here and let's go to the VIX. So VIX is slightly up a little bit, right? This is 15 minutes. Let's take it back to a 30. You can see got a little bit of a jump. For the most part, we kind of stayed steady. And then once we hit the 8 o'clock time frame, we started seeing kind of the comments. And yeah, it's where the VIX popped a little bit. Now, again, you could say that they're mixed. ES and NQ are down just a bit, right? 0.26, 0.3. YM is basically flat at 0.02. Russell is up. Oh, now it's down 0.02, up 0.1. So for the most part, pretty much flat in the overnight. We'll kind of see where this one goes. I think the services is going to be the big telltale sign. With these kind of shooting to the downside now, I'm wondering if these are setting up for a long base trade. Oil, totally flat. Look at this, 0.01 in oil, stuck around that 77 mark. Natural gas kicking back a little bit, but we're still talking about 270. Again, that's still way up there. Gold is actually up pretty big. Now, again, is gold and silver up right now in preparation for a strong, maybe a 50 number in manufacturing, which would be a strong dollar sign, which would mean a quite negative trade in these two? Possibly. Again, this is what we tend to see is massive amounts of movement before the news comes out. And that's what we're seeing right now. Diving right into currency. So this is where we were standing yesterday. We talked about how important a number of this was. And you can see it literally, we drew kind of the borders on this one. And you can see that this one at news time literally drove right down to the bottom of this level and then took off, grabbed the top level, and came all the way back down again. So we said that this was going to be the time to watch. So it's kind of following the path that we talked about. And again, we knew this is a 23. We were talking about it coming up in this area, that there's going to be some front running at the 23. If you shorten this up to grab kind of the candles that are in this base, you're in, right? And we're pretty deep in there right now. And again, not surprising. This is a 7 o'clock turn. You don't typically, expect to see the 7 o'clock turns, but we did know that there was the first area where they're sellers. We knew that there was kind of a bottom. We knew that this news down here, and again, magically, when that news came out, we were sitting right on that mark, and boom, right off to the top side. So that's what we expect to see a lot of times for news. Right now it's retracing back down again and again. Right now it's right now again we're seeing the dollar retracement. Like I said, we got 15 minutes for that news to come out. If it is a 50, that's a very strong dollar. That continues to drive us back down right in the middle of that range again. So let's see. Right now, would you still be in? I believe the answer is yes. Yeah, 1 to 3 is right there. So the question is, and again, there is a little bit of buying in there. But the news was negative yesterday. The news doesn't matter, Ty. Doesn't matter if the news is negative or positive, right? Remember, bad is good and good is bad right now, right? So you can't look at the colors, right? Because if you see something like this, right? Like for today, if you see this and it's 50, you're like, that's awesome. The market should be up today. That means manufacturing is expanding. There's no recession. That's great. Now, what it means is if it's a 50, it means that the Fed has every reason to do a 0.5 raise, which the market doesn't want the 0.5 raise. So technically, it's good, right? We're expanding again. Our economy is doing great. But at the same time, it's considered negative news, right? Because, again, it kind of sends the dollar up. The Fed's going to raise interest rates. Now, if we weren't in an inflation battling, and it was a green thing, that's great. The market, the economy's doing awesome. We went from negative or coming out of a recession. The stock market should love it. But again, if this is above 50, I'm assuming that the stock market will probably shoot straight down. Because again, that's, you got Kashkari talking about 50 or 25. They're both on the table. I could go either way. But you see something like this where it's expanding, meaning that they are not doing too much. Where does he say right here? Right, it's definitely a risk of over tightening. Well, guess what? If it's positive, we're expanding again. We came from negative to positive. We're not over tightening. Now it's this part. Underdoing it is a much bigger risk for the economy. So it's bad is good, good is bad. And that's kind of the conundrum that we're in right now. So just know in this one, and again, there's a couple of smart ways to play this. One thing to look at is we did have basing it kind of popped, and that's kind of where you would be looking for a profit target. We're there now. We got about 10 minutes. So right now, you're sitting at a 1 to 2.5, right? So the reality of this one is if you were short this trade, and again, if you were here yesterday, it's the level we talked about, right? If you're short this trade, there's a couple ways to play it. You can move your stop loss, kind of put it somewhere in here, right? Just to make sure that you bank, you've locked in some type of profit. You could just let this one roll, right? Or you could just close it down at 1 to 2.5. Now, typically, I'm not a proponent of shutting things down early, but we do know that news is coming in. It's quite big news. It's really the only news that we have this morning. It's a major release, and it's something like ISM manufacturing PMI. So, is it worth this much to lose this much, right? That's what you have at risk. You're risking all this to make this. Not a good risk to reward type ratio, expecting, especially with news that, knowing news is in there. So again, a couple ways to play that one. Again, there's nothing wrong with shutting it down and then, having reopened it if you really want, or just shutting it down a little bit early. early today. Because again, a lot of this too is about protecting your profit. You can bring a stop loss down in its currencies. There's enough volume. It'll probably get stopped out if it does go that high. Potentially could it gap over? Sure, it could. Absolutely. It could also gap all the way the heck down here. So, again, it just goes back to, a little bit of a gambling component, right? Is really what it is. I mean, think about it. If you're a casino, right? And the odds are either on this side or this side, you're taking the big odds. That's all I'm saying. All right. But again, maybe it's out in the next 12 minutes. Maybe you shut it down right beforehand. But again, right now it's not horrible. You got like what, 25, something like that, 25 locked in. Yeah, you got like 25 pips out of it so far. So, I mean, easy morning so far. After that, again, I'd like to see it come back down again. I think as far as longs go, 66.90, we're still waiting for that to the downside. And again, just looking at that kind of, knowing where the news was, nice little bounce on that one and a good rally. Also, yen. There you go. Look at that. Went straight down. Love the fact that it hit this. Love it. It actually went just a little bit lower. Let me remove this so you guys can see it. Love the fact that it peaked its head through. You know what that tells me? That the supporting buyers here, and here, 4 hits, are officially broken. So old is new. Again, this is one of those ones that qualifies for us to set an alert on it. Love it. We're going to set this here. It is already red. We're going to right-click it. We're going to put that on there, and bam, boom, we got the alert set there. You can see the red clock right there. So love that one next time we come down. Again, we talked about this being a sell area. We knew that it was between the 50 and the 61.8. What did we do? The news down here late last night, boom, rallied it right up into there. And then again, your reversal came in at about 1:30, 2:30 in the morning. Nice little hit. And again, this one is absolutely out if any of you guys took it. Again, this was a level set up from yesterday. Just so you can see visually where it is. 1 to 3 is sitting right there. Right? 1 to 3 is right there. So, we're well beyond it. We are kind of in the middle of the range now, so be cautious with it right now. I wouldn't say there's much more we can do with it. We will get some movement in the yen, maybe a little bit out of the Aussie. Aussie a little bit, just because again, if it is a number that's extremely strong for gold, that should, or for the dollar, that should tank. That should tank oil. I'm sorry, not oil. That should tank the strong dollar, tank gold. And then gold being a proxy, or the Aussie being a proxy for gold, should lose some strength as well. And that may help roll this down a little bit. So, but right now the trade is out. You're done. This one only lasted until about 3 o'clock this morning. So, pretty easy one. And it wasn't much risk. I mean, a lot of people, I get emails occasionally. People are like, well, you put that up there and, what are the chances, like how many times, what are the chances that, what's the probability that's going to happen? I mean, the answer is, I don't know. I don't have the probability for that. Was it a level? Yeah. What about the risk? Is it good risk to reward? Yeah, it's 10 pips, right? It's 10 pips for 30. It's a very, very small trade. Like, who cares? It's 10 pips, guys, right? And in this situation, had you set up the original zone, I mean, there's one, there's two. I mean, we set these all the time. Sometimes they don't trigger right here. This is a no trigger, but now, we're looking at it. Again, understand, for those of you that have taken the classes, you understand why I like 10 to 30, right? I love everything, and every single one of these trades that we draw out here is a 1 to 3. And there's a reason why it's set for 1 to 3. Again, I just talked about you don't want to risk 2/3 of your profit to make that one little last bit, right? Why sacrifice, 2.5 to make a 0.5? It's stupid, right? The reason I like 1 to 5 is for the same exact reason, right? And trades like this, I mean, 10 pips, guys, are not gigantic trades, right? A lot of these people are like, I'm going to take a 50 pip stop loss and I'm looking for 150 pips in the other direction. Like, I love these guys who are like, oh, we banked 400, 25,000 pips this year. Okay, great, right? If you're position sizing, the actual pips you bank doesn't matter. It's based off the position sizing that you use. Because, maybe you want 150 pips, but you're using a micro lot because that's the size that your account justifies. Right? Your 150 pips in a micro lot versus my 20 or 30 here with a regular size. It's the same profit at the end, right? It's the same profit. It's all about risk to reward, right? Position sizing, right? It looks like it's a great number, right? It looks like it's a great number, but when they have, 500 fake accounts, using micro lots, be like, oh, look at this. This is a good one. It's like, yeah, but you blew up the 99 other ones. It's like, yeah, I could put a long or short on and then show you guys, look at this. I banked 250. Like, it doesn't matter. Right? Position size them. That's what matters. That's why 1 to 3. That's why 10 for 30s are my absolute favorite trades. And this was a great pullback. You already knew people were looking. And again, hit at a good time with a reversal of news. So great trade setup on this one. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, actually, again, yesterday morning we were talking about this one. It was like right at his zone. Wasn't the fanciest of zones, and it hit. So we kind of had a 1, a little bit of a front run at 2, and this was kind of 3 to started chopping back and forth. Right at that 8, 9:30 time frame, you're like, it's before the open. And it didn't. It did turn and roll all the way back down again. It missed the profit target by a little bit. There was no way it was holding it. It went up. Now, it did hit this next level up here, and we said, listen, watch this level. It spent a lot of time here. It did hit it, so it is confirmed, but understand it spent a lot of time here. And what did it do? It hit it, it went down, and it started basing. You're like, yep, it's breaking. And it did. It went up, it broke, and it came through. We talked about 106.94 was where we were looking for the sell. Wah, wah, wah. And again, we couldn't use the wick. We had to use the last confirmed body. So we knew it was a level. Missed it by, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. 2.7. 2.7. So the spread on it is 1.4. So we missed it by about 1 pip. Right. Gotta hate when that happens. You're like, really? And again, it's already started to reverse. It is forming a little bit of basing. There's a little bit of a Harry Potter right now. Again, Harry Potters are not necessarily the best thing to use for news. They're designed for momentum continuation or a breakout, not necessarily a news-based trade. It is pulling back and holding, which you like to see. But again, there are buyers sitting there in that old previous zone. So again, this is one of those ones. If you took it, again, if you did get short from there, you were over a 1-to-1. And then once it started to come up in base, just take yourself out. Again, losing a 1 is not really a big deal. If not, you got probably stopped out at break even. But that's why we didn't put any price tag on it, because we didn't really love this. This is way too much time in an area to form a good level. Even though it was confirmed, I mean, the reality is there was only buyers left to here. So not necessarily the biggest area, but again, missed this one by just a little bit. We'll see. Maybe this news gives us just enough of a push up, right? Maybe it's just enough push up. How much is it? 30? Yeah, maybe this ISM gives us a pop 30 just in time for a 1030 reversal. And looking at this, there's the European session. We've basically been straight up. Now it's a US session. It's time for it to battle back down again. But I will say, very strong comments by the ECB. Absolutely great. Quarter minute signal of a solid decline in the health sector. Okay. I was like, wait, they're giving us they've already written the articles. The articles are out already 8 minutes before. It's the softest in 3 months. So we'll see. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, I want to see what it does. We're 5 minutes from that time release. At this point where we've pulled back to, again, this is not qualifier for a news trade. We were really looking for a reversal. Maybe we pop up and then we get our confirmation reversal for 1030 day, which would make sense. Again, this is, how much movement we got? 102, right? We're at its peak about 102 pips. Daily ATR is only 79. So we are a bit past where it is. You are going to see profit taking, and that's probably what we're seeing right now. European traders cashing out before the U.S. market gets involved. It's probably what we're seeing. It's fine. It is what it is. Nothing that I'm super worried about. Euro pound. There you go. So euro pound, a lot of movement. So we talked about this euro pound level, and we said, hey, listen, there's a zone here. It's in the middle. It's right at the 50. I like it. I hate using just the wick, but it's there, right? You can see right here, last night at, what time is this? 5 p.m. One front run. Then it came a little bit higher. Late last night at 11, another front run. And then we saw right here, 2 o'clock in the morning, a little bit of an attempt and push back down. So there's 1, 2, 3. We came up and we didn't break and we based in there and we pulled back down again. It's like, yeah, it's building buyers, building buyers, building buyers, building buyers. You're like, listen, there's 1, 2. There's 3, and it pushed back down again. There's nothing left in this zone, and it came up, and that's when it finally broke. And you can see something over here. And again, I said this one doesn't really necessarily move enough. If you looked at this one and you were really watching it, you can see that it didn't even look. It hit here, pulled back down again. There's your 1, 2, 3. It hit again, pulled back down again. Hit up and based. It's breaking. It never gave us a pullback, so it was not a Harry Potter-based trade. But that just goes to show you, when you know you have racetrack scenarios and you're breaking through big levels, watch these things go. And it did. It broke through. There was nothing up here. Again, way too many hits. And once it didn't even slow down. Went up, boom, boom, and we're all the way up at the 188.80. Now, the 88.80, it's not a bad level. A lot of the news is already baked in now. We should see some reversals on this one. This one, again, if we take it from the European Open, right? European Open, it's up 87 pips. Okay, this one has a 52 pip daily ATR, so it is beyond 1.5 times. It is technically outside of the window as far as where a parabolic move would go, especially in 6 hours. It did 1.5 times its daily in 6 hours. So where we are with it now, I would say definitely bearish thinking. Again, it is close to that 78.6, but we knew there was a big push down. I would expect it to tear back a little bit. The one concern I have with this one is, again, profit taking needs to come before this level. We can pull this off. Let's pull fibs in the other direction now, just to see if we got any hidden zones in there. Yeah, be cautious with that. Look, um, that 23 is right near a level. This actually may be a decent level to take, something long. About another 29 pips down. Oh yeah, it's got like 7, 8 pips risk. Not a bad little trade, right? And all this is a continuation, right? Down and up, which would be fine because look, from the original, kind of from the original zone there, we got a push, a push, a push, a push. Again, we knew that we were going to have some new sellers in here, right? We knew we were going to have new sellers in that area, but if it comes down again, I would say that we're probably going to burst through it. So I would say right now this is not a bad level. It's a little tiny bit beyond the 23.6, but again, strong push up, kind of a pullback with a one bottom base, and then a push up, and it coincides with the 23.6. So you're getting a decent rally kind of base, and then another kind of strong push. You're seeing a 23.6 pullback. You're seeing small risk, 8 pips. Love all these things, right? And we're seeing on the other side, the opposing zone. This happens to be a level that we've kind of pushed through now, and we've kind of eaten it multiple times. So it's a very weak level on the other side. So those things are not bad. Let's see. Where is yeah, look, 1 to 3 is there. It doesn't even have to go all the way back up to the top. So not a bad little thing there. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen. Let's see. Where were we yesterday? So yesterday, mm, Tuesday. This is where we were yesterday. We talked about just missing this. You can see a very, very strong push back down again. There is a little bit of a testing in there. So there was actually a long trade about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, this is just the old broken level. There's your base with a pullback with a kind of a test and a pullback. You could have looked at this one too, but the problem with this one is there's your original zone, and then it kind of broke, and then just spent a lot of time eating a lot of orders out. So a little bit more dangerous. And then once it came down here right before the zone and then based above it, you're like, yeah, it's breaking. But again, parabolic retracement is kind of fully back up right now. I'd say, yeah, I'm not as concerned about that. Wish this would have left a little bit better. 55. Hmm. Problem is that's sitting in that racetrack right there. So I'm wondering if this is what's going to happen. We're getting close. Obviously, since yesterday, it's been straight up. Europeans stepped in right here, right? This is their 530 mark right here. Again, a little bit of pullback, and then boom, they took off. You would expect this to reverse a bit. Again, reversals are typically going to be higher end of the curve. Obviously, we know we have a 2 candle base before this one got smashed down yesterday. Again, we were hoping for a bit higher, and that was the turning point. Oh, the unemployment rate sitting right there too. 109. 98, it's right there. Full move, 150. Hmm. It's right there. I would say that this is probably close to a short. Let's see. What was the news? All right. It'll be a non factor. It'll be a non-factor. It came in as expected, 47.7. So the market already prepared. So there's no major burst on this one. Again, showing it's a little bit. I mean, maybe people look at this and be like, "Oh, it's point 0.7. That's it. Oh, it's bad." But again, higher than it was last time. So it's technically showing a contraction, but it's getting real, real close. So not. I wouldn't say it's horrible. I mean, let's see. What is the dollar doing? Yeah, I mean the dollar already pushed up again. If anything, I would say that people are going to take that as probably a little bit weaker, right? I mean, dollar wise, I mean, if you're looking at this as something to sell, there's a big sell area there. I don't love that, but there's a big sell area there. Um, Actually, it should be technically it should be here, right? That's the most recent push, but people are going to do it from the high, which is over there. So mm, you're not really getting tons of help with that one. Dollar's an area where it probably turns. Like I said, it's positive, but technically it's positive with a contraction, right? It's below 50. It's showing we have a contraction in manufacturing. Um, so, but it's good for the. I mean, Ty, this is an example here. Technically bad, right? Ah, look. I mean, right, right. The level of diffusion survey purchasing managers, right, right. 50 indicates industry expansion. Below indicates contraction. So technically, it's contraction. That's not good for the economy. But overall, that tends to be good for the indices, right? Russell likes it. Russell popped. Um, Yeah, so that shouldn't affect the yen too much. I mean, we'll get a little bit of yen play on that one. I would say that there's probably a short coming in here. Again, it's small. Again, 145.30, not a bad level, right? Not bad. I like some of the other ones better, but look for the roll. Pound dollar. Okay, pound dollar is fighting. It's fighting. No entry, no entry. You may have gotten an entry here, but you never got a confirmation. We were waiting for a bit more of a confirmation on this one. Still didn't get it. Still didn't get it. Still didn't get it. It's like, oh God, we've been waiting for this to go down. Honestly, this would have been the best it'll take right here at 8 o'clock this morning. The overnight, again, once it formed this, that was a decent level top. It was probably a 50. Yeah, it was a 50 right there. There's a couple reasons why we wanted to change on this one. You're looking for a short. It would have been over here. So we didn't make this one, unfortunately. As I said, we've been waiting for the short to go through, and just the entry was just horrid. Oops. Sorry, I'm just trying to delete these all off so you can kind of get a little pattern of it. Again, punch through. No, no, no. Maybe one here, punch through again, and then pulled up. You're like, nope, this one's going to fail. And it did. It just, again, blew through it again. You can see it keeps coming back and using this level, but it just wasn't giving us the entry that we wanted. It's just not really a clean level. And maybe some people got into here, but again, typically a Harry Potter continuation, you want in one of the major sessions. You're not looking for it typically as much in the off. And this was late last night, and it just based in there, right? And then finally blew through. But the pullback would have been here. So, I can leave this on. It's going. I would say that there is a potential reversal coming in right here. It is the dollar. Right now, the dollar seeing strength from that, probably from the comments. But was it really a strong dollar comment? Not really. I mean, I guess it was okay. But understand we have a 7.86. I don't like the 76. I'm not setting something up here, but it is a base with a pullback with a nice punch off of it. So it's definitely a level that there will be people looking to buy at this level. And again, people have supported, and it was a nice push off at a U.S. session open. So it's the right level for a reversal to come in. But I'm not a big fan of the 786. It's not my rules. But some people love 786. But if it wasn't this, if it was a 61 or a 50, I would like the level. I love the timing. It's 10:06. We've just had news come in driving into that level. So there's a lot of reasons to like that level. It's just the 786 isn't for me. But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that it's not for me, right? As I said, I know James loved the 786. That was like one of his favorite levels. For oil, it seems like it works really, really well. I just don't love it for currencies. But again, everybody has things that work for them and what they see. All right. Pound yen. All right. So pound yen. We were looking for the alert. We were looking for the confirmation. And what I said was, look for the pop, look for the base. And again, we got the bot. There was the original trade, and we came back and we started to use that level again. All right. Now, where you use this level, again, it kind of was it's a decent level. I mean, here's the trade from yesterday, right? Here's kind of the bottom. Now, why I like this trade, okay? And I need to explain this one, right? It is an old level, so we know we have old is new, right? It was buyers here, and then when we came down, it kind of got pushed just a little bit. Now, typically, it's already been used as a long. You're not using it again, right, for the same trade, but you do keep it on the radar to see if it fails. Now, it hit, it supported, and then kind of tested off the top, and then came through and started to base. Okay. Typically, when you see the base, that's a sign that it's going to break. Okay. It broke, right? It broke. There was its base. It punched through, and we had in that near term supply. So there's kind of what it looks like. Um, it wasn't, it's not a horrible trade. I mean, technically, you would still be in it right now. It has not traveled the full distance down, right? There's where the trade is, and right there is the bottom. So you're up a little bit over 1 to 1. You've been down. I mean, it's been sorry, you've been up 1 to 2.24. The 1 to 3 is here. My only concern is this is where we know buyers are stepping in right here. Right here's the pop for the base before it, and we know that's kind of what we ran into here. I don't want to cheat you guys. There and paste. See the same exact number. So you expected it to turn there. So it's a little bit deep, right? It's a little bit deep. But this is just another example of how those zones, old becomes new a lot of times. Again, it was an old top. We did on the 15-minute. We got the great pullback. It went through at base of the top, took off. Retraced back down again, and it kind of used the level in here. But when it came down and based in that same exact level again, it's like, if this breaks, this is kind of what we're looking for. And that's kind of what we saw. So, you may currently be in this pound yen short right now. I do think it's important to mark the top of this off, right? So we will mark the top. Again, that's a 3 candle base. It's not the best, but it's all right. I'm glad that the green candle was the top and not the red one. So we'll mark that right there. Let's see fib wise. You can see, unfortunately, fib 23 Sixers. Sorry, you got stopped out on that one. Now let's see. Does it coincide with anything now? Ooh, now it kind of does. We'll see how much lower we can go, but this may be an area right here that we want to kind of look at, right? Again, it's in close proximity. Reality is actually it can go all the way down to here, right? A little forecasting with fibs, which would make sense. If it busts through this level, there's buyers sitting right here. Yeah, right? There are buyers sitting right there. Again, in close enough proximity to this, yeah. If I bring it to here, look at that. It literally bisects the middle of our zone. So that could be a nice little place. Again, if we get a turnaround there, if that becomes a bottom, I'm not saying take it long off of that because unfortunately this wick down, this old, here, I'll move this so you can see it. This wick sucks, right? You're like, whoa, right? As far as zone forming, but it's definitely some buyers in there, right? So if it grinds back up, I think this becomes a live trade for late. Again, we throw an alert on, just like how this alert was here. I'll pull this alert off now, right? If it's gonna come down and bounce somewhere in here and start rallying back up again, I think that's where you throw an alert. You start throwing this on your watch list for trades later this week. Again, you throw it out there as 164. Remember, it's if this then that. I think so many people focus on get into this trade right now, and by the time you see it, like signals trading, right? Like for me, I never, I don't like signals because by the time I can put my own trade in and then type all of it up and send it out to you, it's kind of moved outside of the range. And then it's like, well, look, it worked, but it's already 3/4 of the way the profit target by the time you could have got into it. So it's like, I don't know. I like signals much better than this, right? Once it forms a bottom and starts rolling back up again, it's like, yo, here's your alert for later on the week, right? This becomes your sell if price reaches this, right? Right? I think, and again, I don't know where the 1 to 3 is. I'm not going to draw all of it, but something along these lines, right? Where it's kind of you would do like this, right? There would be your entry, there would be your stop loss on the other side, and there'd be your profit target, right? If it finds a bottom and starts to roll back up again, right? If this is truly the bottom, we can't go any lower than this. We start to go back, bam, there's your alert. If it does start to break down, again, the story has changed. You take this one off. It's just a no entry, right? But at least it's like ahead of time. Like this is how signals should be, but they're not. Some of them are like, oh, right now, right? It's like, oh, if it hits this, but it's like, yeah, it hit that a while ago, but it's already moved 30 pips. So, yeah. So we'll see. But right now, you're probably, you could be in a trade. This is a 23 or 24 risk for about 70 profit, so kind of a bigger one, but not the worst. And again, you may have actually, yeah, exactly, right there, right? We talk about overlapping things right there. Look. From where the bottom was, there's your 50%. Now it did miss the 50% by just a little bit, but you can see it was in such close proximity, that one. Um, here, I'll move this so you can see it, right? If you were looking for this again, continued Harry Potter, and again, this you typically wouldn't. Although I guess you could have. You could have said, "Hey, look, Brian, look, it's a 23-6 right there. Look, it's a 23-6 entry." Yep, it could have been right, but at the same time, the most recent push because this changed trend, you could have said, "Well, wait a second. It is a Harry Potter trade. It is a 23-6 trade. It is also a 50% trade." So remember, we start talking about stacking on the flavor. There's a lot of flavor stacked into this one. So yeah, there we go. All right, dollar CAD. All right, look at this one. Now again, this one jumped with the 8 o'clock news this morning. Look at that, push down, 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 down. News came out, boom, went up again. And what did it do? The news came out, and then I said, look for it about an hour, half hour before news. It drove it straight down in time for this one to go boom, straight back up again. And look at that, went all the way back up and tagged the 136.52. So yeah, tell me news is not predictable, right? So let's pull this. See, what do we got here? Now, so I would say, again, we marked this 136.52 yesterday. We said, hey, listen, this is kind of an area where we should see some reversing. And again, late last night, we hit it at 7 p.m. And there was the old trade from before. Had you use this trade again, there was the original. There was it again. That was 13 for 40. We just pulled back up to again. So, is it an area where we can see reversal? I'd say probably. And the reason I say that is because, again, we do know that there's a large kind of extended range candle here. It is a 44 pip candle. The ATR on the 4 hour is only 33. So it's beyond, in 30 minutes, it went beyond what it's supposed to do in 4 hours. So again, news drove it up into there. Hey, news driving, a 10 o'clock news driving it up at 10:15 into an area of sellers that have been confirmed. Those are ones that tend to be worth taking a risk. But again, the one negative detract to this one is it's already done it here and it's done it here. So it's already done it twice. This is technically hit number 3. So again, it definitely lowers the quality of this trade. If this was the first time or the second time, or if this was the original zone and this was the second hit, love it. Love it. But again, it is the third hit for that same exact zone. And I don't think it's actually, it's not the original formation zone either. So it is kind of hit number 3, arguably hit number 4. But as far as taking that one, again, 10 o'clock, it drove down the hour beforehand just in time for this one to go booing. Fortunately, a little bit hard risk-wise. So, again, watch this-wise, I still think 135.57 or 58. It's hidden behind, so I can't touch it. Again, keep that on your radar. I think that's still a good little release. I do think we're probably at a reversal, but again, I'm not going to give you guys trades that have hit the zone the third time. If you want to be overly aggressive, you got something in there. And again, it's only 13 pips. It's quite small. Again, maybe even wait if you're really looking to be aggressive on this one. Maybe take it just a little bit higher than that. Maybe bring it up to the 136.55 and then look for some type of a confirmation on the 5-minute. You could do that as well, right? But it's probably going to run out of steam here in a little bit. Like seeing this take off, you're like, yeah, strong dollar. Not really. The news was not really strong dollar. You can see it's rallying up, but we're at that 50.61 where people are going to be looking to sell it. This is very, very hard, very, very wicky. Now we have a little bit of help. And actually, let's see. This is where it's supposed to be drawn off of. Yeah, you can see we're kind of getting close and it's starting to pull back. So again, not really surprising. So yeah, I would expect this one. Now, in regards to this also, we do know that oil is weak right now. It's down 0.9%, which again is not helping the CAD. If we could get some strength from oil kicking back in, that would also help this turn and roll back to the downside. So just a couple different factors. But again, you guys know my opinion on taking hits 3 times in a row. The well is only going to give you water for so long. Dollar Swiss. So again, it's really flirting with 94. You can see we hit this area late last night. Actually, it looks like the first hit was about 5 o'clock last night. We hit that zone. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, again, we hit it at 5 o'clock. Didn't pierce out of the top of this one. Right there. And 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So, I mean, it went all the way back down. I mean, technically, the origin of that move is right there. So, it reversed exactly where it should have. 1 to 3 is only there. Right? So, again, we're just high on the curve. High on the curve, you're looking for short entries. Now, this one was small, 9.8. So, another 10 for 30. Here's another example of the 10 for 30s in the overnight. Again, this one would have been 13, obviously 13 for 45, right? 13 for 35. 10 for 30. So, and look, it's already starting to pull back. We're literally we're at the 94. So, um, I drew it yesterday. I think really this is where our top and bottom is. I don't think it actually holds the next time. I think it will go through the next time. This is a push, a very very deep push, pushing it to the end. So I do think if it has enough power to break through that 94 and the 94.20, I do think this one probably goes higher, and it's probably starting to kind of build its path in 95 up there. Um, Again, I love hearing that comment about the 0.25 and the point 0.5. Again, I think it should be a point 0.5. That's my opinion. I posted in Discord this morning. Bank of America actually made a statement. So now Jamie Dimon said probably above 6. Bank of America has said now too that they believe that it needs to go to 6 for inflation to stop and get back on target. So those are two large banks. Um, you know, large banks are not against higher interest rates because they make their money in loans, right? But again, that's two major players out there in the market, two big banks that deal a lot with well, Bank of America does a lot with loans. Um, David Morgan not as much, but yeah, two said 6. So, probably due for some reversal. But again, I think if more people start talking about point 0.5, I think we will be able to use the 94 as a bottom and be using 95 as a top for a while. So I think that's in the cards. But again, trade's already in, pushed it deep, not as risky, and you can see it turn around, and that's now pulling back below the 94. Dollar yen, again, drove down in the overnight. Yeah, this is one of those ones. Look, no entry. We were talking about this one going through. Unfortunately, no entry there, right? No entry here, straight up and down. This one, though, did come down and came back up again. Now, the high of that candle, let's see. It did. It did tag it, so it was a good trade. There we go. So, this Harry Potter from yesterday. I'll bring it back to the 30 so we can see. Again, there's your alert. It is triggered. This alert right here. Triggered at 12:45, right? Which was the first hit here. So the reality of this one is this going through, you needed to put the alert back on again. I didn't because I was too busy yesterday. The second alert would have triggered at about 3 o'clock this morning, and the actual alert itself, the entry would have been at 5 o'clock this morning. So again, this is why alerts are so important, right? This one went through, gave us a no entry, bam, set the alert back on again. This one didn't close below, right? But once it came in again, one of the ways, an easy way to play this one, because this was an overnight one, right? During the day, it's not bad. You can check it, right? But once you're going to sleep, say, hey, listen, I need this to go down. I need it to give me just a little bit of space. I'm going to put my alert down here. So what you could have done is gotten an alert at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, okay, listen, it's broken. If it pulls back, throw a limit order in, right? Just throw the limit order in. You would have triggered, right? And then pushed it all the way to the downside. Okay? So simple way to do it. In the overnight, I suggest putting your alerts not where on the line, put them a little bit deeper, right? Just so, again, it could have just sliced all the way through and you would have missed the trade, but this one didn't, right? It hit the limit order and ended up going lower. So again, not too bad. You can see this side doesn't do it well, but if I put the 3 minute, you can see that that's where the actual trigger came through at, right? I love this. You can like trick it to do different things. Again, this was not the entry. I needed to move it to right there, right? Again, nice bait. And another thing too. Again, you can see on the smaller time frames. Look at all the basing it did in that zone. You're like, yeah, it's forming sellers, right? And it came back up, grabbed it, and boom, off to the races. So, not bad stuff. All right, bringing this back up. What do we do with this one right now? Again, it's chopping back. You can see it went back up to the buyer, the area of sellers. Maybe this kicked in. Did Fibs help this one? Yeah, a little bit, right? I mean, this was a decent one, right? Right in there, right? It was a 61.8. It's pulling back from that 61.8. The zone is not my favorite. I mean, 16 pips, but it spent so much time there. So much time there, right? Let me take this one off. This trade is out. Let's pull these alerts just to clear my alerts. Boom, boom, boom. That's good. This is a target. Let's put a profit target down here. Actually, look at this. You can see how close it was. 35.20. So again, we got a target low. Honestly, this went up pretty clean. I don't know that I'd even throw long in there. Maybe at the 61. See this right here? This pop, ascending candles. Like you guys know, I love this stuff. I love when you have ascending candles like that. There's probably something down here. Again, if you're going to short this trade, I would say that look out for a level, right? There's probably something small right there. Again, you'll have the 61.8 help, but there's a little hidden level in there. I mean, I could go to the lower time frame. I don't need it, but so you can see it here. I'll just use this one. You can see it here, right? I was just using the wicks. And again, situated between the 50 and 61.8. So actually, I made just short to there. I don't even know how much is that. Yeah, it's 10 right in there, so it's not. Oops, right there. Okay, so I would say that'd probably be the down. You're looking for this one to kind of probably. If you are short, watch 135.75. Take profit there before it gets much lower than that. You are going to run into some buyers, and like I said, you can't. It's harder to see on the 15 or on the 30, but on the 15, it's very very clear. And because it's bracketed in between the 50 and 61.8, you're going to have short term traders that are taking this low to this high. Super easy draw. They're going to take this and be like, oh, there's the 61.8. Love it. Right. And it just happens to coincide with that area. All right. Let's go to crude oil. All right. Ooh, crude oil kind of choppy, right? Kind of choppy. So yesterday we talked about 77. Yeah. Missed it by a little bit again. It made it to, I said 77.77, and it made it to 77.74. So I missed it by 3 cents. Really what happened to this one is it got to like late last night. Like we pushed up here like 7 o'clock, and then it just died in the European session, did nothing. European market opened here, and they were like, all right, there you go. There's your 3 o'clock candle, right? There's your 3 o'clock. It was high in the curve. It pulled all the way back down again. And then what did it do? Oh, where is it? 530 is right there. So there was your 530 reversal in this trade. Um, right now with oil, it's kind of hard, right? Spike back up, spike back down again, and it's like, where are we going? They're just clearing everybody out. They're trying to go to an extreme range at this point. So again, European market 530 reversal on that one to the bottom. Did make it back to the 50, but again, the 50 is still holding at this point. Two very extremely technical trades yesterday. We digested them. Um, let's see. Okay. Oil what's going on with oil today? Is we have oil today or is it tomorrow? No, we do have crude oil. So we have crude oil coming in a little bit. It's expected to be one. All right, let's see. Let's drop this down real fast. Unfortunately, I'll tell you right now, just looking at this on the 30-minute, this is going to be hard to trade for oil today because literally it's gone up and cleared and it's gone down and cleared in both directions. Um, Yeah, I mean, you could say, "Oh, look, there's basing there." Yeah, there is. You're right. There is basing, but we've already hit it here, and we hit it here and drove even deeper. So not really the best level. Up top, this is way too big on this time frame, and we're way too far away. We're literally sitting in that 50% range. So I mean, and it's driving. Is it holding yet? I mean, is it stabilizing? Nope, not yet. And we need the stabilization for this one. On a 1 minute, we're kind of in an area right now. Maybe it can hold for 4 minutes, but um, yeah, it's not really. I wouldn't say any of these are great levels. Mm, it's all right, but I need it to hold, like hold in a level. Like where, like this is okay, but this is like I guess it's 9:55. I needed I needed this half hour for it to hold. Mm, I don't know. I want to say more short on this one, but I mean there's holding, but that's not really what time is that 9:30, 9:45. Mm, yeah, I mean that's what we're looking at for API last night. Another, another 6 million surplus. Hmm. Yeah, see, it's starting to turn off that one. Here's the issue with this oil right now. Um, I don't know who does the forecast now. Big miss, monstrous miss. Got close. Big miss by over 5. That was close. Big miss by 10 million. Big miss. And again, this is positive. They expected negative. That's a 21 million barrel miss. That's huge, right? This one, not bad. This one, not bad. This one, huge miss. Huge miss. Big miss. Big miss. Right? So, and now they're, and again, API right now is saying that the forecast was a 0.44 and the actual was 6.2. They're calling for a 1.7, which is not, I mean, I guess it's better than the 0.44, but if they're right and it comes in at 6.6, that's still a 5 million barrel difference. That's still significant, a significant mark. And again, yeah, it's pushing up. So, I mean, I feel like it's going to probably spike down. Um, but man, they are like totally off. And again, this is, look at this. They're clearing in both directions. So this thing has the ability to pop in either way if people get it step in front of this one. So, yeah. But if anything, I feel like more down than anything else. Natural gas, what do we got over here? Natural gas, we could go a little bit higher, which is fine. Technically, we got our green, we got our red, and we got a green. I'm sorry, our red, a green that didn't go as high, and it's forming, trying to give us a confirmation for a new trend back down. Yeah, look. So we finished up here yesterday at the 10:30 candle, right? We finished early yesterday. So the 10:30 candle, we finished right there. Okay. So we talked about the 258. You can see it came down and grabbed it at 11 o'clock. 11:30. 11:30 is where it reversed that level. So again, I don't do a lot with natural gas, but again, a chart is a chart is a chart. Had you taken this one from yesterday, if you were trading natural gas, and I don't think many of you guys trade natural gas. But again, just an example of a chart, right? Oops. I done messed that one up. There you go. You were out by 2 o'clock. So, yeah. So, again, I didn't take it because I don't do a lot with natural gas, but there you go. Easy, right? Using the 23, but did the 23 slow them down? Nope. It was the confirmed area of buyers right here. So, nice trade. Yeah, it's trying to fight. It's trying to fight this one here. Again, we're super high on the curve. We'll see where this one goes. Actually, been some nice movement off of this one. Yeah, it was yesterday at the close, midnight. European session was here, down, straight up. U.S. session came on and just tanked it. So, not bad. All right, let's see what this number is. Let's see what the number is. Oh, that's not bad. Wow. 1.2 is totally different than this one. That's funny. Was there an adjustment? No, they're saying that there was not an adjustment. It's kind of interesting. The industry report was way off, right? Oh, here we go. It's funny. JP Diamond 6, Bank of America 6, Bostic 5, 5.25. That's all. And look, the policy rate will have to stay at that level well into 2024, which again, he gives you an extremely dovish thing and then says, but we're going to keep this here for 6 years, right? It's going to take it's going to take a long time for it to get back down. Instead of just doing instead of going to 0.6 and then you can talk about cutting, right? Which wouldn't be bad. Because they know that it's going to be high for a while. They got to make it restrictive. How about making it not restrictive? Maybe go restrictive for a shorter period of time, right? The economy has enough momentum to withstand higher interest rates without a major downturn. Yeah, so he's just trying to buy people right now. Because I'll tell you right now, he's one of the only ones that's saying 5 to 5.25, right? Bullard saying higher than that, above 5.25. Although he said 5.35, which is not crazy. Jamie Dimon said 6, and again, I'm never betting against that guy. And even Bank of America said 6. So again, I don't know. Bostic drinks some chai latte, soy, whatever kind of crazy teas. I don't think he's fully, I think he's a little bit. This guy's all over the place in my eyes. And again, I don't think the Fed wants to hold it well into 20. It's like 2 years, right? You're going to hold it at restrictive levels for 2 years versus going big early. Yeah, this is what got us into the problem. It's like, we're just going to leave it here for a long time. No, fix it, right? This is like COVID all over again, right? We could have fixed. Remember? Okay, everybody, just stay home for 2 weeks and we're golden. And then 3 years later, we're dealing with it still. This is the same idea. We're going to keep it restrictive for 3 years and it's not going to cause any problems. No, everybody will pay a lot more than what they need to for 2 years versus just fixing it right now. So, yeah. Anyway, I like bearish on this one. We'll see. Gold, yeah, it shouldn't have had much difference in there. So gold, we talked about a retracement. Now this one came up and really kind of it went a little bit higher than what we got. So you may have entered this one and gotten stopped out. Again, it didn't hit the 61.8 and push back down again. Was looking for this one. I was kind of happy. It made it to about a 1-to-1 on this one. Yeah, it made it to 1 to 1.2. A lot of times when we talk about once you get to 1-to-1, it's where they're going in your favor. If it starts chopping back and forth, it's not really meeting what we're looking to do, right? It doesn't really meet our case of like this. And there's big money there pushing that one down. On this one, I would say most likely you should have gotten stopped out at break even, right? If you were more of an active trader. If you just set and forget it, again, you probably got stopped out. So again, does it happen? Sure. I've given you 3 or 4 winners in the overnight. If this is our one loss that we take, so be it. I don't care. I mean, that's what trading is. You're not going to be right 100% of the time. But if you'd play this one smart, you would have got stopped out at break even. So it wouldn't have even been a loss. So, where it is right now, again, I wanted this to push down. You're seeing a lot of chop. The data wasn't as strong. I was really, in full transparency, I was actually expecting today's number to be, I didn't think we would break 50. I thought we'd be up at like the 49.3, the 49.4 range where it's like, whoa, we're so close, right? So it was going to be more the anticipation that the next reading would be over 50. I didn't actually think today would be 50. I thought we'd be close enough, though, that we were striking distance where I'd be like, yo, the next one, we're going over. That's what I thought we were going to get. We just haven't gotten it right now. But it's interesting because what's the dollar doing? Yeah, the dollar it's starting to run into the sellers right now. So, yeah, I would say, again, it's high on the curve. On this big grand scheme of things, we are at the 23. We got a lot in there, but it's a pretty sloppy level. I don't really love it. But we're sitting up there right now. Again, if the dollar can continue to raise, it's having a little bit of profit-taking problems right now. And again, gold's up 0.68, silver's up 0.99. So it's not 1.5 times. It's kind of lost, and it looks like it's going to start running out of steam here. Like I said, Bostic's 5 to 5.25. That's great. People are happy with that, but keeping it well into 2024 when everybody thinks they're going to lower interest rates in December of this year, that's probably not what people want to hear for gold. So, I don't have a trade for this one that I would be willing to step into, but I would say that I'm definitely more bearish where it is now. Silver, kind of the same thing. I mean, we drew this yesterday being up here in time. You can see, what did it do? It ran right up to the 21 level, and we were talking about 21 being kind of more of a ceiling. And if you look at it right now, right here, I'll move this, right? If you look at it right now, it wasn't even as high for news. The 930 drove it up, and so you're kind of looking at. So again, I'd say more bearish thinking on this one. It's rallying right now, but maybe if it breaks through, and again, it's hit a few times. You got your 50s here, you got your 61s, so you got a lot of technical traders coming into this one. It's not quite double what gold is. I think it runs out of steam probably as well. So yeah, we'll see. Indice-wise, now again, indices today are going to be kind of a nightmare. We know that the news we had was 30 minutes afterwards. It's always hard. Let's see what we got here, just to see what we would have had. By the way, remember the ES trade yesterday? We were like, listen, it's still on. It wasn't out yet. It hadn't gotten stopped down. It was sitting in the middle. It did actually come out, so you would have been full profit target yesterday. So ES, NQ, YM was the only one that we didn't really have a great trade set up for, I don't think. And then, actually, I thought we did. No, it was a reversal. Yeah, we talked about it here. Anyway, VS was one of the ones that was triggered, and it did go to the full profit target. So, let's see. Now, look at this. In waiting for the data, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:30. All it's doing is waiting for the data. And then what did it do? At 9:45, it popped pre-news in time for the news to come out to go straight back down again. So, no opening print. It was a news trap is all it was. Was it rallied up ahead of time? Again, if you're going to sell something, sell it for a lot more than what you want. And then it dropped back down again. And all it did was push. Did it push right into here? Yeah, it pushed back down to the same level. Actually, it pushed down to that confirmation. So, no opening print for that one. NQ. Yeah, same thing. 9:30 went. Yeah, look. Hold. Hold. Green at 9:45 in time for the news. Straight back down. This one did grab a little level, but nothing great. So, yeah, no opening print there. Whoa, manufacturing. Let's see what he got here. 9:15. This one did the 9:30 and the 9:45, and it went up and grabbed the basing here. Would not have traded that. Way too much space. It's too similar to that one anyway. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. It was a strong push off. So I mean, there are people that would have tried to trade it, and all it did. But again, telltale sound. 2 candles before, straight up. into a red candle for news, and now it's back up to where it was before. So again, it's totally flat. It's 0.09 from where we were yesterday. We're exactly where we were in the overnight. Um, I mean, from here's midnight, and now we're at the same place we were at midnight. So not really any trend. And then our Russell, yeah, same thing. Look, 9:30, 9:45, green spike up in time for the news that came out at 10 o'clock right here and drove it right back down to where the lows were. It did grab the same level at the bottom. So yeah, none of these are opening print. They were all literally waiting for the news today. So unfortunately, that's what happens when you got 10 o'clock news, something this big with expansion or contraction. So yeah, it is what it is. You're not going to get it every day. How did oil take that news? Yeah, it pulled back a little bit and then went through. What did it do? Yeah, look, pulled back, and then just there. So yeah, first one they've gotten right in a while. And again, too much movement ahead of time, right? I mean, looking at these 5-minute candles, I was like, man, that is way too much movement, right? So yeah, I mean, talk about clearing wicks. This is a great picture, right? Straight up, straight down, clearing it out, right? Clearing everybody out. Now so that way it can go right through. And again, was oil a monstrous down draw? No, it came in pretty much in line with what they expected. Yet now it's providing a 60-cent pop in oil for what? Because it came in line. No, no. I mean, the expectation was there, so they just they cleared it top and bottom. So, all right, let's go and do the drawing for today. So 6 of you guys are in. 7 tickets purchased. Who we got today? Debbie, you missed us yesterday, right? Got Will in here today. Got no neuro. Ernest, what did you do to neuro? I feel like neuro could be on vacation. I feel like he could be. Silent, back again 2 days in a row, my friend. Awesome job there. Awesome job. All right. We got some last minute jockeying in there. I hacked him. Yeah. Hey, Ernest, if you're going to hack anybody, it's going to be neuro. Right? It's going to be neuro. All right. Winner of today's drawing is Ernest. Ernest takes it with 4. Right? He had a 40% chance of winning. Ernest, did you win yesterday? I don't think you won yesterday, right? No, it was Jeff yesterday. Was Jeff here today? No. Look at that. Jeff sleeping, and Ernest took it from him. So there we go. See? You can only win if you're here. Give him his 25. There we go. All right. That's it for today. So again, tomorrow morning, just be cautious. Again, we do have unemployment. It's not a huge morning. There will be some European movement in the overnight. There's already adjustments factored in there. And then U.S. unemployment claims. That's it. So we'll see how it goes in the overnight. There'll be some retracing. I would expect the pound to retrace a little bit, right? It's just, again, this 129 way outside of the range. So with that, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a good one. Take care, and I'll catch you then.